Mundos. Peace. It's B. Anyways, I hope everyone's doing well. Today we are going to talk about adding fractions. Okay, when we talk about fractions, mirror my actions. The top number, the numerator, tells us how many pieces we have. The bottom number, the denominator, tells us how many pieces it takes to make a whole thing. Okay, so what I'm trying to do here, and I know that this is review for you guys, but I'm trying to come behind what you've done with Miss Carol and maybe just patch some things together that maybe you missed the first time through. Okay? I know you guys have done this already. You've done it a bunch of times. But I want to get this idea of getting the denominators correct for adding and subtracting. So where we're going with this, what we're going to be doing next week is we're going to add and subtract fractions without common denominators. Okay? We're going to do just common denominators today. And you might say, oh, Mr. B, that's easy. That's easy. Yes, it is easy. Although, every once in a while, I see you guys miss them. That's okay. It is easy. But if you get used to adding and subtracting using common denominators, right, you'll know when they're not common. And you'll know you'll need to find a common denominator. That's going to be the emphasis of next week's lessons, okay, is that common denominator. Once you guys can do that, you got it made. But today's going to be a simple one. Real simple, okay? We're going to add and subtract fractions with common denominators. That means the bottom number, the denominator, right, is going to be the same. Okay? When you add and subtract fractions, the denominator has to be the same. You have to be adding the same sizes together. You know that fractions are all about pieces of a whole thing, right? So you can't add thirds plus halves because they're different sizes. They don't go together. Okay? You have to make them the same size by finding a common denominator. Then you can add them together. Does that make sense? I hope it does. So, if I was going to add these together, what they're asking you to do here, now I know this is way below you. This is way below you. But just do a couple of them just so you can understand what we're doing, okay? Let me do something here real quick. I'll be right back. Okay, so I copied this into my smartboard thing so I can use it here. The reason I want you to do this, and I know it might seem immature, right? But I want you to visualize what you're talking about when you're adding fractions. So this is going to be 1/3 plus 1/3. So 1 on top tells me how many pieces I have colored in, and the 3 on the bottom is how many it takes to make the whole thing, right? So if I've got 1/3 plus 1/3, I can add those together because my pieces are the same size, right? That would be 2/3. Terrible writing, right? But that's what you would end up with, right? Now, I don't care how many of these you do. I really don't. But I do care that you understand the idea of needing to have a common denominator to add or subtract a fraction. Okay? So, hold that thought. So, this will help you visualize it. And of course, we're not going to work with fourths and thirds. You're going to work with 60 seconds and, bigger fractions or smaller, way smaller pieces, right? But then it does go into some things like this. Now, look. I will see kids. Let me copy this one too. Sorry, hold on. Now, first of all, I apologize that this is so cumbersome to do this way. Once I get back in my room, you guys, it'll be a lot better when my smartboard gets fixed. Anyways, so if I'm looking at this fraction here, 1/3 plus 1/3, I can add this because it has a common denominator. The answer is not 2/6. Okay? You do not add the denominators together, guys. Okay? You do not add the denominators together. You keep the denominators the same. You're still going to have thirds. The pieces are still going to be broken down into thirds. When you add 1/3 plus 1/3, it's still going to be thirds. You're just going to have more thirds, right? You've got 2 of them now. When I add 2/5 plus 1/5, it's not 3/10, right? You're adding pieces that are broken up into 5. You're adding something broken into 5 pieces together, right? You're still going to have, it's still going to take 5 pieces to make your whole thing, but you took one of those pieces or 2 of those pieces and added it to one of those pieces, and you got 3/5. Now, I know this video has been short and sweet. Next week it's going to get tedious, okay? Just do a few of these for me and send them back to me, okay? I want to see what you're doing. I don't care if you got 3 of them done or 50 of them done. This is a huge thing here, right? It's a monster, but I want you to understand that when you're adding or subtracting, and there's subtracting down below, right? When you're subtracting, it's the same kind of thing. You don't change the denominator. You just, the answer to this, 3/4 minus 2/4 would be 1/4. You're still dealing in fourths, okay? And this part up here will help you visualize that. If I've got 3/4 here and I'm taking away 1/4, right? That's going to be 2/4 left over. I want you to visualize that. All right, guys. Next week, common denominators, adding and subtracting with unlike denominators. It's going to be tricky. All right. Have a good weekend, everybody. I miss you. I know this is a little easy today. That's all right. We're gonna fix all these little things, and we're gonna get you guys up to being A+ students. All right. Stay safe. This is B saying